We're live.
Oh my God,
Hello.
bring up.
We're back. How's everyone?
Hey, we're back.
Hello.
Hi,
You
everybody.
you missed us?
Prog Report Live. Back and better than ever.
1 month later, and we're here.
Yeah. And how's everybody doing? How are you guys?
Everyone say hi. Tell us what you had for breakfast, cause I didn't have anything, and I'm jealous. Yeah.
Hello.
Eh,
I-
Frantic,
I-
Frantic Dave is back.
I'm having pink tonic water.
One of you guys have the echo, so
Sorry, that might
Yeah.
have been me. I
okay.
think I'm okay now.
Yeah.
I don't,
So-
what did I have for breakfast? It was so long ago. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh yeah. So what do you have for lunch? Cause that's my next one on my list.
That's what we were
A,
recapping. It's
Subway?
just what we had for breakfast and lunch.
Subway.
Subway, you've Subway, right? Kids wanted Subway. My wife's
Okay.
away, so it's Subway for lunch and KFC for dinner.
Are you sure you're in? Are you sure you're in Ireland? So we're back after I think about a month, which flew by.
Yeah, it did.
Insanely. Dan trekked all over America, seeing Riverside and Symphony X in Haken. We want to hear all about that. 'Cause we
Yep.
went to a ton of concerts. We have Morsefest, which went on, which I was the only one of the four of us to not attend. And then we had Cruise to the Edge right after that, which me and Nick were there. So, lots to recap. Where do you guys want to start? I mean, it's it's been.
I guess we should go chronologically.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, we should.
So yeah, I guess so. So first thing was
Me.
uh,
Oh, Riverside.
Dan.
Yeah.
Dan went. We didn't get to do one because Dan is our tech guy running these Zoom calls, and we don't know how to do it without him. So Dan was in New York. That was where you stopped first. And who did you see first? Was that Riverside?
Yeah. So I had a very long trip. I just got back this Monday. I'm being home. I don't even feel home yet because I've been doing so much. But yeah, I stopped by New York, watched Riverside because I was on the way. I didn't want to go straight to Nashville for Morsefest. So I stopped there. That was my first concert since watching Dream Theater in Argentina in December 2019. So it had been a big while. And it was crazy, dude. Like the feeling of being in a room with other people that enjoy the same kind of music as you and singing along. I mean, I knew I missed it, but I didn't know how much. So like when the show was starting, everyone was clapping. I was getting super goosebumps and all that. It was just great. And those guys were super tight. Like it was a crazy fun show. It was my first time watching them not in a cruise setting. The cruise, like, it's always great, but sometimes we have tech issues because the stages are set up differently. And also, if you're outside, you have the sun, it's a different feeling than being on the room just to watch these guys. And also, when you're in the room to watch them, you have just the dedicated fans. So you have a more engaged audience as well. So yeah, it was a great comeback to live shows for me. I loved it. It was very like the trip on itself. It was very exhausting because I had like concerts and then go to sleep and then wake up at 5 6 a.m. and then catch a flight and it was kind of moving like that every day, but it went well.
Before we continue, I'm reading that everybody said my volume is low. I've tried to raise it, so please let me know if that's better. But they're also saying that Jeff and Nick are a little low as well. Dan, they say your volume is fine. So
Okay, so that's probably me.
this is a
You know what I'm gonna
test
do?
here. I don't want to. When I've raised my volume too high before in the past, I've been distorted. That's why I was being careful. But let me
Okay,
know.
no. Let me
it's
know if
working.
this sounds good, everyone. It's probably on my end. Sorry, it's been a while.
Yeah, we got to
So-
get things back into normal. here.
Exactly, but this should be better. You guys, let me know.
We can wait for
Um,
some feedback from the people watching. So test 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I okay?
I can use this mic, 1, 2, 3, 4, or this mic, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me
Sounds
know
Tell
which-
exactly the
difference
same.
at all.
It's like
Yeah.
an eye test.
Yeah. Good. I think. Okay. Well, no one's saying anything, so I think maybe
Yeah,
that's better.
let us know, guys. Roy's
Okay,
now
for the
good.
test,
Roy
Okay,
is
so
now
delay.
good. All right,
if Roy's
cool.
good,
Thanks.
everyone's good. because it's all the
That's
same
all that
slider.
matters.
Good.
So okay, so then you went from Riverside to Morsefest.
Yeah, Nashville. I met up with Jeff just the next day. We had a big hug. I did cry
Yep.
when I saw Jeff. I'll tell you that.
Uh,
It was
d-
I know, but
one.
I just
don't
I
we?
s-
Don't we all? Doesn't everybody?
It was
yeah,
one
most people.
manly tear going down in my
I was
face.
standing on your foot though. That was why.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Morsefest.
Well, I had
Jeff, go ahead.
well, I had got there the day before you. I think on the Wednesday. You came on the Thursday,
Yeah.
and we were straight into the melee of getting things set up. Obviously, the folks were there, and the band was there and was rehearsing, and they were adding probably another 2.5, 3 hours of material to what they had been playing on tour, I think they'd come in on the Monday of the week, so there was a lot going on, and then it kicks in on Friday with VIP and Q&A and meet and greet, and then Friday night show. My goodness, well, I suppose the second part of the set was the thing that we knew, which was the whirlwind, which was just unspeakably amazing, really. The first part, nobody was quite sure what it was going to be, and the intro music to Into the Blue kicked off, which made a lot of people happy, because the set, I think the touring set hadn't had anything really from Kaleidoscope. Did the curveball of Inhaled In 'Twas I came
Which
next,
made a lot of people happy too.
made a lot of people happy and a lot of people a little bit puzzled, but it is the one transatlantic studio album track that had never been played live, so it's very much a Morsefest thing to do that there, and it was brilliant.
Knowing
And
Mike,
obviously,
we should have seen that coming, right?
yeah,
But
and coinciding obviously with Gary Brooker passing away, but in the previous year, and then we had Shine, which was obviously paid in tribute to Paul Hanlon, who I'm sure most people watching this have heard of, and who had only passed away probably 7 to 10 days before that. We had We All Need Some Light, with the lighters all going. We had the whirlwind with I suppose some little variations, which kind of, I always say that I saw the last 3 full performances of the whirlwind and then saw the 4th. But Ted was used quite well in some of the kind of higher vocal bits. Obviously, the previous performances of the whirlwind had been with Daniel Gildenlow as fifth Beatle, and it was a phenomenal performance. It was really out of this world, and I'm sure somebody else can talk about night 2.
well, I don't think we're done with night 1 yet. Nick,
Okay, what?
please.
Oh yeah, sure.
Well,
I wasn't there, so don't look at me to talk
Yeah,
about
no,
it.
I'm looking at Nick.
You're looking at me, Dan? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what can be said? All the classics were played in a kind of a abridged format in the encore. But the whirlwind. What can I say? It's one of my 5 favorite albums of all time. Just hearing it played from start to finish, in its entirety, was a wonderful experience. It almost spiritual for me, really. I mean, I've gone on record a number of times saying how personal that album is for me, and I was just gobsmacked. I was in tears for most of the night. I think that a lot of people were. But for me personally, I kind of got back to the hotel that night and was almost unready to socialize with everyone because I was just too emotional. You know, I found myself having to go to bed and just sort of wake up in the morning and try not to be in tears again. It was like that.
I can 100% agree with everything you said. I mean, the thing is that I never got to watch the Whirlwind live. So this time it was my one opportunity because I don't think they're doing it anymore.
Yeah.
So it was such an honor, man. Like after the show, we were hanging out at the hotel for a bit, and I was just like, I felt like I was out of my body, you know, just my soul floating around, and I was just there. But it was amazing. It was like one of the craziest, greatest sets I ever watched. And there were a couple flubs here and there, and a couple people asked me, so what did you think? Like, dude, I don't mind them. I even like them a little bit. It
No,
feels human, you know?
exactly. What's a concert all about? A concert is all about connection between you and the artist, right? And especially an artist that is as personal to all of us as Transatlantic. So that connection is made even stronger by being present when a couple of blupses are made. It just increases the humanity and the connection between you. So, you know, as much as we all know that Neil, Royna, and Mike in particular, and also Pete and Ted are perfectionists, and we understand that they want to give musical perfection. That humanity is increased by witnessing the odd human error here and there, and it just makes the experience all the much better and more memorable for us, you know.
Totally, I agree.
I mean, Pete, you know, all of the guys are standout. I think things for me, I suppose the last time I saw Transatlantic was 2014 on the Kaleidoscope tour, but since then, you know, the way Royna plays the guitar is really unlike anyone else, and he's just got such a different sort of set of influences, and I was mesmerized at times at watching him play. And Pete, you know, his bass playing and his kind of bouncing energy and enthusiasm is really great. I suppose in a band where you know, there isn't really, you know, anyone who, I mean, there was no catwalk at Morsefest this year because who would have gone out onto it? You know, they're pretty much behind their instruments.
They would probably have put Mike's kit on the catwalk, right?
Yeah. And I'm not mentioning Mike, and I'm not avoiding mentioning Mike and Neil because all of us know how brilliant, you know, they are, both from a performance sense, but also in terms of kind of the cheerleader, you know, with the audience stuff. But I thought, I just, and I've seen Neil and Mike a lot. I haven't seen Pete and Royna quite so much over the years, and I was kind of quite, you know, quite mesmerized by them. And Ted, you know, covering all the bases and coming out and singing singing "Lay Down Your Life," which was just,
it was
yeah, you know, jaw hits the ground type stuff. Really, really good.
I think one of the interesting parts, and you can chime in as well, right, because you just watched Transatlantic, but one cool thing about watching them is the dynamic that Neil and Mike are facing each other. So they are just playing off of each other all the time. And that's one of the coolest parts. Even though, like, it's not a Morsefest exclusive thing, that's one Transatlantic exclusive thing, you know? And it was one of the coolest parts. And
sure, and it gives all the drummers the opportunity to watch him from the side,
yeah,
and see what he's doing, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we can get to the Transatlantic performances when we start on the cruise, when we start about the cruise, and you know, I'll save that for that. But I guess I'll just look forward to the Blu-ray.
Well,
yeah,
you were missed, man.
Yes, you were.
Well, the best part about Morsefest, aside from the shows, which are always great and unique and special with what they can do, is that, you know, when you go to a regular concert, even if you live near a friend or two of yours, and you can go to a concert with a one friend, maybe it rarely happens, right, that you live near so many people that can all go to a concert with you together. But even if that's the case, you go to, you know, you meet at the show or go to the show in a car. The show's over, you go home. That's the end of the hanging out with your friends and going to the concert.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty of Morsefest is you're with this group of people 6-7 hours before the show, 6-7 hours after the show.
At the Waffle House.
Day.
The whole weekend. Yeah.
You know, and for me, honestly, that's the part that I was most disappointed to have missed, because I look forward to that all the time, and we hadn't done that in 3 years. So that was the unfortunate thing.
I think that's true, and I probably should have said that at the start. Seeing this guy and seeing this guy, both major highlights.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if
why
people know
you
this,
chose to
like,
boycott it, Roy. I don't know, but you have your reasons, I'm sure.
You know, I'll get to that, but the I don't know if people know this that watch this or watch us by now, but like we have only met through
Yeah.
this group of people, um, through Cruise to the Edge and Morsefest and things, and that's how this friendship of this group of people started. So that makes Morsefest even more special because that's where we all really met each other for
Right.
mostly outside of a couple of people. So, I mean, it's a really cool, unique thing. It's been really important to a lot of our lives.
And
which is-
this is like
think
this particular crew. It's 4 continents. It's crazy.
Mhm.
We have Roy who's in the U.S. I'm in Brazil. Jeff is in Northern Ireland, and Nick is in South Africa. And like you cannot get this kind of mix of people just naturally. Every other week, right?
I went through, I mean, the first 10 years more of being a Spock, Spirit, and Neil Morse fan, thinking, I swear, I was the only one in the United States that listened to his music.
I thought I was the
I
only one
never
in the
found
world.
another person.
Probably the only one in South Africa, Nick. To be honest.
It was to find out, first of all, when I started the Prog Report, that people in other countries gave a crap was something was something crazy altogether. And then to find a group of people that thought the same, that appreciated that long song or that liked Bridge Across Forever, or this has been crazy, and then you start to see our community on the Prog Report and people that follow us, and it's been, it all stems from all of that, I think, which is, again, just goes back to why that kind of stuff means so much.
I
So,
do. I do have one more highlight, and I think it's been. I mean, Neil has said it online, so there's the venue where Morsefest has been held since 2014 has been sold, so it may well be that was the last one, and in the existing format. But there's a like all good series, there's a kind of story arc. I think there's a movie to be made on it that begins with a slightly rounded Brazilian boy who comes to Morsefest 2014 and is quite a noticeable presence in the various games and VIP stuff, and comes with one of his parents, who then at the end of Morsefest 2022 is invited up on stage for a round of applause because he made part of the video backdrop
the
that
Dan
accompanied
Levy story.
the Absolute Universe.
Make me blush here, Jeff.
I think
Come
there's
on.
a movie. I think there's a movie in there to be
with Brazilian with Portuguese subtitles and to be released in Brazil.
Oh yeah.
And for the 22 people who are watching, suggestions for who should play the role of Daniel Levy in
Well,
that
Dan
movie.
Levy, obviously.
I think Eric Gillette should play me.
The real Dan Levy.
Dan Levy to
Gillette.
star,
Canadian
Dan Levy to
Dan Levy.
produce, Dan Levy to direct.
Dudes,
Dan
I'm not
Levy to
that
roll the camera.
narcissistic, There's but I'll say
Well-
one cool narcissistic thing that happened. I had Prog Report fans come up to me and say they were fans. It was pretty awesome. So Frantic Dev was there. We had a couple chats with him. Me, Jeff, I probably Nick met him as well. And some other guys I didn't catch their name. And I talked to them, like maybe 5 to 6 people. It was really cool to see people interact in real life,
Somebody wants Johnny Depp to play you in the movie.
Robert
Pattinson.
Pattinson as Daniel Levy.
Chris Pratt.
Chris-
Wow,
Yeah.
they must.
No, Chris
giving
Pratt
you
just
some
plays
major
everyone.
props.
That's the thing. He's Mario. He's Garfield. He's everyone.
If anybody, the lead singer of Kindo should play Dan.
No, he's way too tall. I'm Brazilian. I'm not that tall.
If anyone would like to make the poster for that movie,
Oh wow, that'd
wow.
be great.
Yeah, going back also to what Jeff was saying about the venue. Of course, an important part of the weekend is that it doesn't end with the second show. There's a church service which Neil holds on the Sunday morning, and whether you happen to be of religious conviction or not, everyone's welcome. And it's a little bit of further personal interaction with Neil and his family as well. So that's been a very important part of the weekends. And
Somebody writes, Perhaps Eric Gillette. He seems to be able to do everything else.
Good one, Mark.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you do
I
look a
think-
bit like Eric.
I think Jeff is
It's true,
frozen,
Yeah, I think he is.
or he's in deep thought.
Well, he's certainly frozen in a contemplative
Okay,
frame.
Yeah,
there he
you go.
is.
This
There you
thing is
go.
back.
Jeff,
Jeff,
you're
you
back.
froze for a minute.
Yeah, sorry, my
All
internet.
right, so should we get so then after that that Sunday, so Morsefest was Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning. Everybody left. Some people stayed in town. Whatever. Nick was one of the people that flew over to Orlando or Port Canaveral, which is outside of Orlando, in Florida for the cruise. The cruise left on Monday. The night of Sunday was the pre-cruise party where at the hotel there was a big conference hall, and they had a show there for whoever was staying there, and a bunch of musicians stayed there, and we saw the Project Band, which is that supergroup with Michael Sadler and Ryo Akamoto and a bunch of guys, and they were awesome. They do really cool versions of famous songs, Firth the Fifth, Cinema Show, 21st Century Schizoid Man, Carnival, all that kind of stuff, and it's awesome. They're great, really, really good stuff. Alan Hewitt and One Nation were really good. They opened, and they had these two piano guys that did a bunch of piano covers, like Silent Lucidity on piano.
I got on board, and having missed Project, of course, the night before, but I heard only great things about them. Everybody was saying that Michael Sadler.
Yeah, it's a shame they weren't
killed
on
it.
the ship, honestly. I guess
Yeah,
maybe
I
it
thought
didn't work
so.
out for them to do it, but they would have been really cool to be on the ship, I thought. But
I
for pre-cruise,
thought so.
it was a nice fit too. So
Yeah, yeah, and just getting onto the ship. I think the first show I saw was Marvin, because Wishbone Ash were moved, and then they were replaced with Alan Hewitt. And straight after Marvin, I saw McStein and Miniman. Wow, two of the most mighty drummers on the
let
planet.
me just point out this.
Yeah.
So before you, because I want to hear a little bit more about your highlights and stuff. But so obviously Nick and I know each other, and we see each other in the beginning of the ship. We've happened to find each other, and then I didn't see him again until like almost the last night. It was amazing.
That's your fault. That's
we had
your
dinner
fault, Roy.
once on the second night or something, and then never saw him again, because it's that kind of craziness, which is so insane. I even left a voicemail on his room.
No.
Did you ever get the voicemail in your room? I called your room,
I eventually got the voicemail as I was leaving the
and
ship.
I'm like, dude, I can't find you. I'm gonna be at Haken at 3, and then Moon Safari at 5, and like
Pattern
whatever,
Seeking
just come
Animals at
find me
7.
somewhere.
I know.
So,
I know. Look. I had to pack in as much as I could.
You saw a
because,
bunch of shows. I don't get to see shows, so it's a very different experience.
I mean, I was writing that review of the cruise for the Prog report, so I really had to pack in as much as I could. And there was 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there, and trying to get everything in. But as anyone who's been on the cruise will tell you, it's just impossible to see everything.
So I'll give people my brief experience, what it's like for me, because I am one of the hosts on the ship, which requires me to introduce a bunch of bands before they perform, and then do some Q&As here and there, and some other events, read announcements over the loudspeaker, judge a contest, different things all over the place. But what happens is the schedules are always fluctuating. So you plan to be at somewhere. I got to introduce somebody at 3, and then somebody else at another stage at 5, and somebody else at another stage at 6. But then things get delayed. So the 5 o'clock show got moved to 6. The 6 o'clock show got moved to 8:30. And I'm constantly having to then run back and forth to the different stages to see where they're at. You know, oh, they're still not ready for 30 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna go run over here. Oh, they're still not ready for 40 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna run over here. It's just running back and forth the entire time, and doing whatever is required. In the meantime, 20 different shows are going on. I've seen none of them. That's
and everybody hears that word cruise and thinks, oh, you were lying by the pool, right? And sunbathing. No, it's not like that at all. It's all about the music. The pool is completely covered up.
The only exercising you do is running from one theater to the other.
Well, the one difference this year, because they used to have some stuff a little earlier, even like at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. Most stuff this time didn't start till 12 or even 1. So if you wanted to do some morning stuff, by the pool, relax, stuff like that, you did have the mornings to do a lot of that this time, which I thought was a nice change. But then literally from 1 o'clock to about midnight or so, it's nonstop music. And if you have a chance to see shows, then that's great. But you also run into, like you want to talk about trying to pick who to go see, which is,
Wow.
it's like Sophie's choice. Like, well, I got to see Haken or Riverside, or whatever it is, and you got to pick one. That's a challenge. But I did get to see a few shows that sort of blocked out for me, that worked out. I saw both transatlantic shows. I saw both Haken shows. I saw Riverside, Eckstein and Miniman. They were great. I saw a little bit of Martin Barr, Life Signs. Life Signs won over the ship. I mean,
They
right? I mean,
absolutely
how much were
conquered.
people talking about Life Signs, which was great and well deserved.
So I've got to say that personally for me, Life Science second set, which was them performing the whole of Altitude and an encore or two, was triumphant. I mean, they literally from halfway through the show, they got a standing ovation for every single song. The entire theater was packed. The crowd and people on the way out were saying to me, who are these guys? How wonderful was that? I didn't know anything about them. And a lot of people discovered Life Signs on that ship. Particularly because of that second set, which was just sonically brilliant. Steve Rispin, the front of house sound guy, who's formerly a member of the band and with very good reason, absolutely killed it on sound. And he also killed it on the first set, which was the pool stage where there were wind problems, wind whooshing through the mics and all that. But Steve did an amazing job. But the band themselves, the performers themselves, were just outstanding. Won a whole host of new fans on that ship, and I can tell you they are likely to be headlining. If I was Larry, I'd be making Life Signs one of the headline attractions for the next cruise.
I didn't even get to see more than a minute of Marillion, so that was it. Just because they played really weird times, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Against it just was weird. Alan Parsons I saw as well. So I did, here and there. Sometimes it was catching two songs and then running off to something.
You guys
else,
saw
but you get a little
Jimmy Ola?
bit.
I saw Jimmy
I
Ola,
spoke to him.
yeah.
I met him, and he was a really nice guy. I got to introduce him on one show, but then I had to leave. So
it was an acoustic stripped back show, just him and a percussionist. But it was as much a kind of a storytelling evening, the theatre show in particular, as it was a musical show, because he told a lot of stories about his history with Chick Corea in particular, and he's a hilarious guy actually. He's as was a consistent theme. Yeah, as is the case with a lot of prog bands, the frontmen are obviously are often very funny guys. Aldo Meola himself is obviously a very entertaining guy, and the stories that he was telling were really, really fun to listen to as much as the music was. Yeah, it was a great show.
The French band Clone won over a lot of people who didn't know who they were. They were great.
I never caught them. That's one
They
that
were
I
very
missed.
good. And actually, another guy that won over a lot of people was the guitarist for IO Earth, Dave Curitan. Did you catch his set?
I didn't. No.
He did so he has a solo thing out, and he did just an instrumental guitar solo thing, which is very much Joe Satriani-ish, a little heavier, a little more metal, but like that kind of style. Very melodic, just sort of instrumental guitar stuff, and just was awesome.
On the 2017 cruise, I actually jammed with Dave Curitan.
He's a hell of a guitar
session
player, and people really were into it. Yeah,
Wow! I tell you, there were some really good musicians playing with him, and they were struggling to keep up with him. He's very good, very good indeed.
So it's just there's so much to cover. People were playing with other people. You had people joining other people in different sets. Randy McStein must have played with 7 different bands.
Right.
Mike Keneally with 4 bands.
Marco played with the Zappa band.
Dave Bainbridge, played in Gabriel's band, and then with Fernando, and then did a solo song from his album, and then played with Life Signs, and I mean it was just that kind of thing. It's just like kind of everywhere you saw it was wild. So I'm glad it came back. It was awesome. I came back with COVID, so that was an experience, as apparently, a good handful of people did.
I dodged that
Dan
bullet.
got COVID over at Morsefest, so such as it was. But we were all doing all right, and it was worth going for me.
What
at
would you
least.
say were your sort of top 2 or 3 cruise moments?
For me,
Top five.
Life Signs second set was the number one show for me. Transatlantic's first set, which was all the classics, including excerpts from Whirlwind, was the second best set. I mean, I hate ranking music, I really do. It's not sport. But those two will stand out in my mind as the top two shows. Then I've got to put McStein Miniman up probably as number 3. Again, I hate rating bands, but their sets, both of them, were so powerful.
You didn't catch Haken though. You didn't see the Haken shows.
So I caught Haken's second show.
You
I
caught the
missed
second
the
one.
cover set again for the second time. That's the second time I missed their cover set on the cruise.
So again, I can't speak to picking too many favorites because I guess I just didn't see many. But I will say that the ones I did see that I enjoyed a lot, I think the Haken cover set, they were both great, but the cover set was just really special, and they did such cool songs. I mean, doing Radio Gaga was like so cool, and Turn It On Again from Genesis, and it was really neat. And then the Spinal Tap bit that they did with Stonehenge, which I think we're going to talk about later, was awesome. The Riverside Pool Show was spectacular. They were playing in like hurricane force winds. I mean, I can't even explain it. It was so crazy. And stuff was flying around, and they just went through the whole set, and it was awesome.
And you could
Life
just
Signs-
tell that the band was
The Life Signs
utterly
second set,
on
I
form.
caught half of it, and it was great. And then I really enjoyed Alan Parsons in the theater. Was the sound for that show was not surprising, but it was amazing. Oh, Pattern Seeking Animals were really cool.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Really good.
They were awesome.
How was it?
How
'Cause-
about the Flower Kings? What did you think of the Flower Kings?
I didn't get to see it more than 5 minutes.
Well, they closed the whole cruise.
I thought
They
the
did
first
last set of the
transatlantic
cruise.
set was better than the Absolute Universe one, but I don't think that was their fault. Royna was clearly sick. He wasn't singing, and he had lost his voice. Ted was covering all the parts that he was singing, and they just seemed a little off from that. I think Neil was also struggling with his voice. They were trying to cover some stuff, and I just think musically it was pretty good, but it seemed out of sync because I just don't think they were all healthy, honestly. The first set, like you talked about with Stranger in Your Soul and Whirlwind and all that, was phenomenal. So yeah, that's sort of my brief kind of rundown.
Pain
Yeah,
of
but-
Salvation?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh wow, what a
The
head-banging
talk
show, man.
of the ship, one of
Wow.
the talks was their theater show, the second one, which everybody was like raving about. I didn't get to see it, but
So I
How was it,
was there.
Nick? I am very jealous.
It was in the ice rink,
The
as
ice
they
rink
called
one,
it,
right.
which
Yeah.
right, which was a converted ice rink, which was the second biggest venue on the ship, and wow, did they kill it? I mean, the lighting show was spectacular to begin with. Definitely the best lighting show of the whole cruise. But the sound was so present in your face, and I mean they are a powerful band. Panther gets a lot of bad rap in my opinion. They played a lot of songs from Panther and from the catalog. They were so powerful. It was head banging. It was intense. It was great to see Daniel back to full health and in such wonderful voice, really. And the band was on point, man. Apparently that was their second show since 2019, was it? Something
probably.
like that. And they killed it. They absolutely killed it.
So
People were
they
buzzing.
don't have a bass player. You guys were telling me about that. And
No bass
are they
player.
playing to a track and the bass plays in the background? Is
Yes.
that how they're doing?
Yeah. The drummer's playing to I think a click track. I'm not entirely sure, but there's no bass player, so it must be coming off the keys or from a track, one of the two.
yeah.
And that's crazy.
So, those are the brief recaps. I mean, I hope that there is another Morsefest or something, but maybe at the next Cruise to the Edge, which we don't have any news on. Did anyone manage to catch Joel Barrios during the cruise? That's hilarious.
He's uncatchable.
Yeah,
He's uncatchable.
You
Joel
can't
was
not
everywhere.
run
He's
into
up a
Joel
ladder.
Barrios wherever you go.
up
we
a
saw
ladder.
Joel a lot at Morsefest.
If
too.
Joel was not standing next to you taking a photograph at some point in the cruise, dude, you
haven't
weren't
been
there. You weren't there.
I mean, you literally
didn't
turn around
happen.
and, oh, Joel. Oh, there he is.
I was asking Joel where you were, Roy, and he was saying, I don't know. Go find him yourself.
Yeah. They had about 4 or 5 different photographers that they use on the ship because there's so much to carry at any different time. And even some of the other photographers were like talking about to Joel, like, dude, how do you get everywhere all the time?
The guy's
like,
a
how did you
ninja.
get that shot? I was over there. How did you get that shot? Joel's I don't know. He's a ninja. He's a ninja with that shit.
Before we move on, Roy, I do want to give a shout out to Late Night Live, which is the passenger performances run by Rob Rutz, who's just a wonderful guy, and also put together by Bill and Devorah Goldman, who weren't on the cruise this time, but they made all the pre-arrangements. What happens is the passengers get up and play progressive rock covers, and they do it unrehearsed, first of all, without getting together beforehand. Some of them don't even know each other when they get onto that cruise, so that's one dynamic. The second dynamic is that very often you get to play these songs in front of your very heroes, and very often you get to play with your heroes as well. Sometimes, guys like Mike Thorne from Saga came up and played a whole lot of Rush covers. They had a whole night dedicated to Rush because of the late great Neil Peart, sorry, and I just want to give a shout out to Late Night Live because it's a wonderful addition to the cruise and is something that is not to be forgotten.
Oh, Brenda Bradley won a cabin on the next Cruise to the Edge. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, they did a
cool.
giveaway on the last night.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Fantastic.
We do need to get all of us back on the ship together at some point.
And Jeff there for the first time.
I hope we're able to do. We got to get Jeff on the cruise.
Yeah.
One time.
Look at his face. He's like, maybe.
We're going to write to Jeff's wife about this matter.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's nothing to do with Jeff. Listen, my wife told me for when I was 50 in January 2020, and she told me I could go. She talked about it beforehand. Did I want to go to the cruise in March 2020 or April 2020?
And that was the one that was canceled.
That was the one that just
I
happened.
booked all of that.
Last month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Frantic Dav mentions the final karaoke night and Nick DiVirgilio singing Tom Jones tracks.
Yep.
No, I didn't. I made it only one night to karaoke. So there is a karaoke on the top of the ship where you will find a lot of the musicians go.
I have so
what
many
happens
stories
is
from
all
karaoke
of
nights.
All of the people, all of the passengers go to the Late Night Live so that they can play music like their favorite artists. So they all go there. All the actual artists that are on the ship go to the karaoke to sing Tom Jones and Britney Spears songs. It's a completely weird environment, and it's a blast. But yeah, I made it one night there, which was fun, but I didn't get to go to another time.
Dude,
so
there was like last cruise 2019 I've been in. Ted Leonard did a cover of "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. I'll never forget. It was crazy. Also, Ross Jennings did "Dream On" by Aerosmith. Also crazy. The last part.
I'll never forget signing up for karaoke there and following Nick DiVirgilio, which was like the worst thing ever.
Oh yeah.
What did you sing, Roy?
Queen, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, because my wife was there and she made me. But I followed Nick DiVirgilio doing. I think it was a Tom Jones song. I forget which one, but he was in full, performance mode, just killing it.
Then you
I'm
get
like,
their
"Please,
hands in the
dude,
pocket.
Please
You-
just don't
you-
call me
you-
next. Please don't call me next.
You think that's pressure? You think that's pressure? I once had to play drums to the doorway, Spock's Beard's The Doorway, with Nick DiVigilio singing it. Try that.
Yeah, that's
I'm
crazy.
still trying to get
what
over
you
it.
And a
played this
privilege.
year? You played Splintering Heart. Is that the
Yeah,
one?
yeah. I wasn't due to play this year because my going was a very last minute arrangement, and I wasn't due to play at all. But when I got into the boat, Rob saw me, and apparently a drummer who was due to play had tested positive for COVID and was unable to board the ship. So they asked me at the last minute to play Splintering Heart by Meridian, and it went okay. I only listened to it 5 or 10 minutes beforehand on headphones.
No, I actually thought you guys did really well. There was some to be expected with no rehearsal, right? You guys don't rehearse.
No.
Everybody just learns the songs at home, and then they show up and they play. And they're playing
not, in
sometimes
my case.
random gear and all sorts of stuff. So it's different, and these
And
are not
very
easy
difficult
songs, right?
songs as well,
So it's a challenge. So I don't begrudge anybody for having a difficult time on some of these, but as a result, some covers sound not so great. But yours actually did.
Dude, in 2018, I think it was, I was playing Infinite Fire by Flying Colors when Mike Portnoy walked in and started watching me in the difficult bit in the middle. He started air drumming, and I didn't know he was there. But
You're a really good drummer. So I never worry about you. You're a
That
really
was
good enough to-
2017, I think, Nick. We were there.
Was it?
We had a little video of that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Says I took the video. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a brief recap. Meanwhile, other stuff while we were gone that happened. Big Train announced officially their new singer. I believe that happened in the last few weeks. Alberto, is that right, Jeff? I'm forgetting the name. Is that his name?
From PFM, Jeff, you're muted.
You're muted, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, his name is Alberto.
Yeah.
Thank you. You
And,
can go back to being muted.
he was an additional musician for, not the lead singer for PFM, but sort of an additional guy, multi-instrumentalist guy, and by all indications has a really good voice. It should make for a different kind of sound, but okay, I think it's cool. I'm all for it.
I
Nice
love
to see
PFM.
them.
I think it's a great fit.
And
Alberto
yeah.
Bravin. And
Right.
then also Oscar Holdorf is deputizing for Carly on the tour because she has some family commitments that she can't
Right.
move.
Yeah, they
at
did
that
announce
time.
some tour dates in Europe, a few, and
Well, they already had two that hadn't been cancelled, and so the rest follow on from that. So I will be at the first show of the reconstituted
Very
Big
exciting.
Train. So it's
when is
Friday.
that? When is that happening?
That is September sometime, I think.
That's
Cool.
Frantic Dav just asks if there's any footage or YouTube channel of Nick playing drums. Not
There's
live,
loads.
I'm
but
sure
you
there
can
is
go
somewhere.
to Stranded by the International
that's
Prog
right.
Crew.
Yeah.
It's on my YouTube channel,
Wait.
Daniel Levy.
Hey, can you put that link on the chat, Dan?
Yeah. Hang on, I'll be right back.
Yeah,
But
it'd be-
that's one of
You can
Roy's
see all
songs.
of us playing. Yeah, you can see the four.
There
That's
you go.
right.
There you go.
Let's go.
You know, we
Um,
should
okay, so-
react to
so-
that
so
Yeah,
Roy,
someday.
stop
So,
the whole
Roy,
podcast. Hang on, stop the podcast to do that so Roy can get more clicks.
Roy, you need to talk
Hey,
to
they're
Rob
on
about
Dan's channel, so nothing to do with me.
that. We're going to do that song on the ship one day.
Oh my goodness, there's no chance I could pull that off.
Can you imagine that?
Other news. My good friend and somebody that's been on the podcast with us before, Jeff Wagner, who's a great metal aficionado. He has written a book about Fate's Warning that is coming out in July. News about that is on progreport.com. If you're a Fate's Warning fan, you definitely want to get that. It's called Destination Onward, and he's a phenomenal writer and interviewed everybody that you could possibly talk to that knows anything about Fate's Warning. So I want to give him a shout out. Jordan Rudess announced more dates for his solo tour that kicks off in June and runs through August. He's going to be doing different piano medleys of Dream Theater and Bach and stuff like that. And he's awesome live, so go check out that. What else? Porcupine Tree released a new single yesterday. We're not going to play them because we've had copyright issues on this live stream with Porcupine Tree. Herd Calling. It's a 7-minute song on the album, but the video that came out is only about a 3-minute edited version. Still pretty cool. Another weird prog metal kind of weird time signature song, you know.
A very although it could fit onto In Absentia, and you probably would just think it should be there. That was what I when I first heard that.
If you want to know what I've been listening to, I have to write a certain review for the Prog Report. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. Not as good as a wink to a blind bat, as Monty Python would say. And I got to tell you, there's good stuff in store.
All right, that's good.
You know what we didn't talk about, Roy?
Yeah.
The Haken Symphony X shows.
Oh my God! Let's we got to talk about Haken. So they put out a new single called Nightingale, which we have never covered. Well, not on this live stream. They killed it on Cruise to the Edge, and now they're on tour with Symphony X. Dan's two of his favorite bands in the history of music, and he saw how many shows?
Two shows. The two first.
Well,
shows.
There's a review of the 2 shows online. You don't need to go into too much detail.
Yeah, I won't go into too much detail, but I'll say I was very happy to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was it everything. Was it everything you had hoped for and more?
Not everything I hoped, but everything I expected. No kidding, because like.
So who took it for you, Dan?
It's obvious. I'm a Symphony X guy, and I love Haken. Yeah. They're like really high, but it's I went there for them. It's been a while. Symphony X doesn't. They usually play a very safe set list live. So that was the thing. They started with an intro tape that had Divine Wings of Tragedy playing, which is my favorite song and one they don't ever play live. So my hopes and expectations looked like they were being answered, but they weren't. That was just bait. I was baited ultra hard, and they didn't play that song. And they played a very safe set as they usually play, even though it was the 25th anniversary. But that doesn't mean it wasn't amazing, because it was. Like, those guys live is just mind-blowing. Russell Allen is a presence on stage. Michael Romeo is insane and super fast and super technical. And it's a fun show, man, because, the audience jumps around. And I had 2 very different experiences. New York was the first one, and it was a standing show. Everyone was jumping and headbanging. And the second one was a seated theater in Philly called the Keswick Theater. Seated, it's a different experience. You kind of watch them. It was great that I was seated because I was very tired. But well, like, they are still playing. If you can see them, go see them, because it's a good show. It's a double bill.
A couple weeks left in that show. Also, Pain of Salvation are playing North America with Clone.
Yeah, I had to miss that. I tried to make it work with my schedule, but I couldn't make it. So yeah, these, and I watched Riverside again here in Brazil when I came back. It was a ticket that I had for.
You did?
Yeah, almost 3 years. Yeah.
Oh wow!
I watched them just last Sunday. Yeah.
Cool,
so there's 3 Riverside shows in like 2 weeks.
Daniel.
No, it was. I actually watched 4 bands, each of them twice.
Wow.
Sorry, Jeff, you're cutting a little bit.
Daniel, a question that I know the answers to. Question 1 is, who did you meet at the Symphony X Haken shows? And question 2, who didn't you meet?
Yeah,
at the Symphony X and Haken shows?
I ended up not seeing any other guys. The thing is that I got there super late and left right after the show, because I was with my dad, and and we were hungry and tired. It was all our trip, and it was another detail. It was cool that my dad was there, because it's been a while. We usually go to concerts together, and it's been a big while, so it was a great experience to share with him. But Mike Portnoy was also there on the second night. Sadly, we missed each other, but we might see. I might see him with Sons of Apollo here in South America in a couple months. Maybe other things. But well,
for those who haven't seen Riverside live,
but you did meet.
I got to tell you, I didn't.
You did meet another.
Yeah, sorry, Nick. I think what Jeff is saying is that I did meet the Daily Doug, and you're right.
Yes. Talk about that meeting. We want to hear about meeting the Daily Doug.
Dude, it was very fast because he was talking to someone else, and I thought he was just there for a moment, so I kind of went there awkwardly and stood by, and like, hey man, excuse me, sorry to bother you, but I'm a fan. I'm at the Prog Report. I was you for April Fools. It's like, yeah, I remember that. That was funny. And so, like, can we take a quick selfie? And that was it. It wasn't a long conversation, but I said, yeah, how are you enjoying the show? Because that was right after Haken played. It's like, yeah, these guys are amazing. Ross is just, So it was a very quick chat, but not a chat.
That's great. That's
yeah, but it was great, man. Doug is an awesome guy, and I think we should bring him into one of these live streams someday.
I think that'd be good.
Definitely.
Yeah, we
Doug.
could bring him to a live stream. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry, Nick. Go ahead. You're talking about Riverside.
Oh no, I was just going to say that the first time I saw Riverside was on Progressive Nation at Sea in 2014.
Same.
And that's when I got it. That is when I got it, when I saw that band live. And of course, now having seen them again just on the cruise recently, Shrine of a New Generation's Slaves, or whichever album it happens to be that they're promoting at the time. That is a band you have to see live to get them. Really, they're amazing.
Nick, I don't know how much you knew of them prior to Progressive Nation 2013, but when I went on that cruise,
nothing.
I did my research like on bands I didn't know, and I remember going on the forum and asking, so where should I start with Riverside? Because I don't know anything about them. And they said, dude, you cannot go wrong. All of their albums are good. All of their songs are good. So you might have a couple favorites, some you like more, some you like less, but just listen to the whole thing. And back then, I think they had four to five albums out, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember just being hooked right off the bat. And that was one of the coolest concerts on Progressive Nation. Like, they were a presence live as well. Piotr was still alive and in the band, and his sound was just so unique. And having watched them just twice this last month, it was a great privilege because they're very, very good live. And I watched four of my favorite. I watched four of my favorite bands.
Aside from being one of the best bands out there, some of the nicest guys in any band. They're so awesome. And it was amazing. On the cruise, I did a Q&A with them, and a bunch of people were watching, and I have people, I give them the mic and they ask questions to the band and stuff like that.
I was there, yeah.
And so many people didn't even have a question. They just wanted to say like how much Riverside meant to them in their life, and it saved their life, and this song means the world to them. And it was very like almost intense at times for some of these people. It was like it wasn't just music, it was like
an outpouring of love, an outpouring of sort of your music is the soundtrack to my life, I think one lady said, something like that.
Dude, but they were even very like
taken aback by that. It was like stuff. They don't even Marius is like, he doesn't even understand how that happens, he's very humble, but they're the best. I love those guys. They're really great.
Great.
Should we get to some music?
Yeah, I mean, that's enough recapping for a recap episode.
Yeah, let's recap some actual music for a little bit before we get out of here.
Okay, let me.
And I know we didn't cover a bunch of stuff. There's just been so much. So,
Nick, Jeff, and Roy, the link is on the Facebook chat for our listening room.
Can you put it in? Yeah. Can you put it in the Zoom chat?
One of the guys can send it.
Here, hold on one sec. All right, see if that works.
Cool.
There it is. So I got 3 people there. We're first checking the tangent, the lady tied to the lamppost. It's an edit, of course, because...
So, all the songs on this album are really long. There are 3 of the songs are all about 15 plus minutes, and so they're edited down, the singles. This is another really long song on the album that's edited down to 5 minutes. Do you have to press play, or do we press play?
Just setting something up. Just 1 minute. You can talk about breakfast. I don't know. Sorry.
Let's see. Let's go back to the chat here a little bit. Many of the Q&As will be uploaded. No, actually, is it Frantic Dav, or do we say Frantic Dave? I don't even know.
It's Dav.
But no, the Q&As weren't filmed. I didn't film them unless somebody else filmed them, so I don't know if they'll be up anywhere. Troy's gonna go listen to Riverside, absolutely. Rapid Eye Movement is a masterpiece. I don't know if it was reissued. I don't remember. They did do some reissues recently.
Troy, start with Shrine of New Generation Slaves.
That's my
the one
go-to
starting.
also. That's my favorite album too. Yeah.
And that's right in the middle. It's about to be 10 years old. I think that album. It's great.
Well, that and Second Life Syndrome.
Yeah,
I think
Second Life is where I started, and it's a great one.
Yeah.
Well, ready to go, guys? You ready?
Yep.
Ready?
The Tangent. Everyone in chat, if it's too loud or too quiet, you let us know.
No one in the world knows.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think I have to press play. Yeah, okay, I got it.
She's got
This edit's not going to give away a lot of what this album is. I mean, if you scroll maybe about halfway through, Dan, maybe to like the 2-3 minute mark, you get a little bit more of the music part of the song.
Okay.
Because the beginning's very slow. Yeah.
Totally different song.
Yeah. I have heard this album. I really like this album. I think people should check it out. I think it's one of their better ones in a while. It is very proggy. Like, really good playing.
True prog. Steve Roberts on drums again, right? I think so, yeah. No?
I don't think so.
Oh, they're introducing the band now. Andy Tillison sings and plays
Luke Mashin
keyboard.
on guitar.
Well, it's Jonas on bass, of course.
Jonas
Yeah.
on bass.
Very convenient. Thanks, The Tangent.
Thank
yeah,
you.
Steve Roberts is drums.
Steve
You're
Roberts.
right.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, he used to play with Magenta. Very good drummer.
That's a cool solo.
And Theo Travis, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Luke Mashin is like an amazing guitar player. So, all right, that's sort of the tangent.
But
Comes out on June
funny tangent
17th.
story.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Funny tangent story, very briefly. I went to England to see a double header in the upstairs of a little bar, which was The Tangent and Unitopia, both of whom I followed. And there was a relatively small crowd there. Familiar looking guy standing beside me, and I just couldn't place him. And probably about an hour later realized it was Stephen Wilson.
Oh, wow.
All right. Was that at that concert at King's Place, Jeff?
No, it was
In London?
upstairs, and it was upstairs in an upstairs room in some bar in London. It wasn't even like a biggish venue.
Because I went to a festival called Celebrate in King's Place, and that's where I met Wilson. He was just sitting at the bar, you know, and very interested in what everybody had to say. You know, a lot of people were trying to talk to him, and he wanted to know things like, oh, why do you think In Absentia is the best album I've ever done? You know, very personable guy.
Why am I great? So,
That's
all right,
cool.
what's next, Dan? What do we got?
Next is The Deer Hunter.
Deer Hunter, yay! New album. It's another new concept about a movie that he put together. This is really cool.
First time checking this out. I love The Deer Hunter. Big fan.
They always do something unique, and you know that the whole album won't even sound like this. Like, this is going to be one song that sounds like this, and something else will be completely different.
Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah, this is very up your alley, Dan.
Oh, this fills up my soul.
I love these guys so much. I'm so
when you
excited.
wanna keep your secrets. Otherwise, it's a big mistake. Thinking that you're
Dan, this is right up your alley, in fact.
'cause you're not fooling anyone. So
No, it's not Act 6. It's called Antime. He did a movie called The Indian Child or Enigma Child or Indigo. And this is sort of adjacent to that, something like that.
It reminds me a bit of Reign of Kindo, a little bit.
Very
it does.
much.
Yeah. I was trying not to mention it because I bring it up every time, but there it is.
Yeah, I'm just really happy they're doing something new and they're going on tour, so that's exciting. Really cool.
So good.
You should have tried to hide it, lie it, deny it. Now this is as good as it gets. And there is nothing that can keep the driving you from integrating, so you better get used to it.
Dude, this is actually my first time reaction. I feel like a YouTuber right now. I just gotta make the face.
Like, this is the Daily Dan. The Daily Dan.
Truly the Daily Dan. Like, I love it. Everything about it's great. I just don't feel like making the faces, you know?
This is really good. My first time hearing it too. Really good. Oh yeah.
Disco Prog.
Disco Prog, yeah.
Disco
Very
Prog.
good- That's a good name for it.
That's what Alex Makacek called his band on the cruise. I couldn't hear that.
Progging Timberlake, this.
All right, let's stop this. Next one.
All right, it's
Dan
time
can go,
for
Dan
some
can go
heavy
play it again
metal.
later. All right, Charlie Griffiths from
Metallica.
Haken. All right, so he has a solo album. It's kind of a weird metal, but we gotta watch this. Just be quiet.
Journey to the distant past. There is a Dunkley Osteus. Our guest today is Charlie Griffiths. He's gonna play some guitar riffs. Time travel back in time. So kids from 1 to 99. Come along and don't be shy. It's time for Timmy Time. Hi there, Charlie.
Hello, Timmy. What do you want to do today? Shall we play some guitar riffs? That sounds fun. I'll just go get my guitar and my skin suit.
Dude, this is amazing. Come
It's
on.
really great. Yeah. This album is awesome.
I love the dynamic.
Now, what you gotta watch is the what I know what you call him, the alligator or whatever he is. Like, his fingers and thing is actually moving correctly to what he's playing,
Dude,
which
that's
is
crazy.
wild.
So TikTalic is the name of a plaster that was found. I don't know how
That's
many
what it
years
is.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like a fish with bones, and it's a strange
Ah, good.
creature.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, and it's like the TikTalica name is a pun between that and I think Metallica, the TikTalica.
Right.
I love like the visual stuff that he came up with.
Look at what he's playing. Look what the animal's playing.
So are you telling me that those chords are correct?
Yes, he's moving his fingers correctly. Watch.
Wow. Really?
The settings on the effects pedals are correct as well.
I mean, the artist must be a guitarist, but
It's great.
oh man, this is great.
I love the hat. I love the hat as well.
Yeah, it's Twin Peaks, right?
It's yeah.
This is like King Crimson meets Metallica, right?
Oh yeah.
Very crimson. Very
Yeah, this part in particular, yeah.
There is singing on the other songs, by the way. There's different vocalists on the other tracks.
His face, dude, it's so funny. Well, I look forward to it. That's great. Oh, it's nice. The feet in the ice. In the snow, I mean.
All right, we should stop this. This is long.
Yeah, all right.
You
So
get the
let's
idea.
head over to James Labrie.
Very
All right,
good.
so there was a lot of talk in the chat before about the James Labrie. I'm a little biased. I have had a chance to work with James on, kind of promoting this a little bit and stuff, and obviously with Dream Theater. So But I love this record. I legitimately think it's a great album. It's not metal. It is acoustic and more laid back and stuff. But I just think the songs are just good. And
I just want to say,
I think his voice sounds great.
Everybody should listen. Everybody should read Jeff's review on this. It's a really well-written review. And
I think if you
tells
can
the
just
story.
not expect it to be a metal style record and just listen to it for what it is, it's a really good record. That's as best I can put it. I like it.
I think I said in the review, you know, it's very, very different from anything he's really ever done in a solo capacity, and you know that kind of more. I mean, it's not even an acoustic album. It's just that there's not very many heavy, distorted electric guitars in it.
Yeah.
And that just sonically does something by removing that kind of range of frequencies that kind of just. I think it gives his voice more space maybe than what it would normally have.
I think it proves that he's still a phenomenal singer singing this stuff. Like, his voice sounds great.
Yeah.
And that's his son playing, right?
On drums.
On drums, yeah.
I like the chorus in this song a lot.
Chance.
So this guy Paul Logue co-wrote all of this with him and plays a lot of the guitars and bass.
And there's a Zeppelin cover on it as well.
Ramble on.
There is.
But honestly, I think it's a really good album. Just put it on.
I'm enjoying it. I haven't
all
listened
the way
to much
through,
of it
and it's
at
a
all,
solid
but
record.
I'm enjoying the piano, moody kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Cool artwork by Thomas
Everhard.
Everhard.
This is the chorus.
My copy hasn't arrived yet.
I also like that they've had videos for every song. With them performing, and they look like good real videos that they put together, so that's been kind of nice also. This chorus is awesome. Honestly, I think it's a great hook.
You know, the older he gets, the better he gets, in my opinion.
Christopher is asking about Animals as Leader's new album. You know what's funny? I just finally sort of did a mini review of that recently because I hadn't had a chance to get to that record.
I did listen to some of it, and we listened one of their songs on the last Prog Report Live. It's a fun album, but it's Animals as Leaders, you know.
It's Animals as Leaders. It's the same thing they've always done, but even more.
Yeah. I mean, it's great.
It's
Don't get me wrong.
insane.
Yeah.
There is some stuff on there that is so insane. I can't fathom how they even play it.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay,
so
it's
we got
a lot. It's a
Matt
lot.
Goska released a drum cam video of one of the tracks. I think only yesterday or the day before on YouTube. So check that out. It's really good.
I find Animals as Leaders just be too much for me to listen to all at once. Okay, so this is Haken performing Stonehenge from Spinal Tap on their pool show. Just leave it from the beginning before you patch. You'll see how it starts. It's pretty hilarious.
See if you can guess who the person dancing is.
In ancient times,
Hundreds of years.
hundreds of years before the dawn of history,
Dude, I love it.
lived a strange race of people. Druids.
This was maybe the highlight of Cruise to the Edge.
Dude, they must be so happy they're doing this.
Was this their first gig with the new
No
keyboard?
one knows
Yeah.
who they were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pete Jones, first
Oh
gig
man,
with keyboard
he's
player.
great. I love watching him.
But their legacy remains.
Charlie again making an appearance on the live stream.
Yeah.
In a comedic context as well.
Stonehenge.
Shout outs to whoever recorded this video we found on YouTube. It's under the name Rachel Green, the one from Friends.
She recorded a bunch of stuff on Oh, the footage from Haken. Oh yeah, Connor Green's wife. Duh. Should have put the
Oh yeah,
two
they're,
together.
yeah, makes sense.
So skip to about 250.
Okay. No, hang on. Did you hear that? Oh man, I wish I was there, dude. That's amazing.
And oh, how they danced. The little children of Stonehenge. Beneath the haunted moon.
Look, you see the thing
For
falling
fear
from the ceiling.
that daybreak might come too soon.
It's brilliant how they do the mandolin part.
And somehow they all keep a straight face.
So this was a surprise. Jimmy Keegan, no one knew he was going to do this. He didn't even tell the band. He just hopped on stage.
Really? He didn't tell the band?
No, he just did it.
And didn't they auction the monitor?
So after this, there was an auction for Casey McPherson's charity on the ship. A bunch of artists donated stuff, and the guy signed the Stonehenge, and they also donated a couple of other things. Their bundle with a signed album and a backdrop from the tour and the Stonehenge sold for, I believe, about $4,000
Wow.
for the charity, which is pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they raised $45,000 or something like that. I believe was what I heard.
That's
To
amazing.
those of you who are interested, it's Casey's charity called To Cure a Rose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
For-
stuff
for
donated was killer. So it
Children
was
who have
amazing.
rare diseases.
And speaking of Haken, they released a song we never got to check out.
Yeah, so
And so
they
we're
also
doing it
played
now.
for the first time ever live. They played this song on the ship.
That's
I
Pete
love-
Jones on the keyboards, their old new keyboard player.
and I love this song. This song is amazing.
So my first impression wasn't that great. It felt like it was everywhere, but the more I listened to it, the more I started enjoying it, you know. And live, when they played it live, it's just mind-boggling, dude. It feels like they go to every time signature of it, and they just have one thing there, and they kind of want to make sense of it, and it doesn't make sense, and it also connects lyrically. You know, it's
I just
an amazing
think-
song.
I think there's certain bands that reach a peak of their powers at a certain point. Like I felt that way about Porcupine Tree around Deadwing and Fear of a Blank Planet, where you're just like, this band can do no wrong. And I feel like Haken is at that moment right now, where just everything they write is just amazing. You know, and no one sounds like them.
So forgive me, because I'm not a close Haken follower. Have they an album coming out? Or was this
No,
just
not
a
yet.
one-off
They're-
song?
It's being written. It's almost done, I believe. But it's no news yet on.
Yeah, it's kind of a mystery.
This
They just released these.
A song for
They wanted to get a new song out before the tour, something with Pete. So they said this is one of the ones from the new album that they just picked to record and put out now.
Pete,
think
of course,
Big
is not only their new keyboard player. He has
He was
been
the
a
original,
band
yeah.
before. He was the original.
Big Train have said they're doing something similar. They're putting a single out with the new lineup.
I'll skip a
before-
little bit
before
to the
that.
instrumental part.
Yeah,
Just hang on.
They're chatting on the chat. Someone mentioned the King's X album. There is a King's X album coming out in September. So that's going to be really cool.
Instrumental band is very cool.
Dan, you should write a book about King's X.
Sorry?
You should write a book about prog metal in general and King's X.
Is he a fan of King's X? Are you a
I
fan?
like
Symphony
King's X. You're thinking of Symphony X.
I'm thinking of
Symphony
Symphony X.
Just bands with X.
Any band with X, including Spock's Beard X.
This is so good. Like it's just.
This next part is my favorite.
And the production is phenomenal.
Ray Hearn is something else.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's fantastic.
Good shit.
Yeah, so that's Haken. And if you're here, you have probably listened to that song already.
So I think that's a good place to stop for today. We covered a lot.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us. It's fun to be back. It's great to be here and talking to all of you. We had an
I don't
amazing.
know yet what we're going to do schedule-wise. If we're going to do one next week or in 2 weeks. Oh, actually, I can't next week.
We can maybe try a different day, a different time, but we'll keep everyone posted on the socials.
Next week, I'm going to Orlando to see Paul McCartney.
Oh, nice.
So,
All right.
Cool.
Next Saturday, I'm going to Belfast to see Queen and Adam Lambert. And that's
Oh, you lucky guy.
all right,
That's
we're getting out there. We're getting out
that's
to
a-
see
Yeah,
shows.
lucky guy.
That's
Well,
a
Nick,
2020
you and I
ticket
have
that
traveled
came good.
already. Too much already.
Oh, dude, 100 shows, 30 bands, 31 bands actually. Yeah, I got what I deserved.
Got your
Yeah,
We're
free-
seeing,
same.
so after Paul McCartney, a couple weeks after that, I think it's going to be Tears for Fears, which I'm really excited. They played their first show last night.
I didn't
and
know
the
you
set
were,
list-
you were a fan.
Did I not mention that?
Of
No,
Paul
never.
McCartney.
But their set list is amazing, so I'm really excited for that. And then, yeah, more stuff to come. So,
By the way, can I just say, because we haven't yet,
oh, we didn't talk about.
Pineapple
Oh,
Thief?
you got
Yeah.
it. That's good.
I
Oh,
got
That's a great
a
album.
copy. It is really, really good. It's reworked versions of stuff from their other albums, and as it describes it, with Gavin Harrison being the kind of key the key factor. And it's actually, I mean, there's lots of their early stuff I hadn't really listened to before that I've kind of gone back and played the originals and yeah, digging into their catalog.
That's a really good record. Cool.
All right.
All right. So
Sounds
we're
good. And so
Yeah.
thanks everyone. Shout outs to everyone.
Yeah, we had a
and
nice following today. It was good.
Morsefest, Cruise to the
Yeah.
Edge, Symphony X, and Riverside, everything. Rossfest, everything that happened. All the prog shows. We're back.
We're
Let's
back.
support live music and see the bands that we love so we can keep getting good music.
Thanks
Alright.
to
Prog on.
thanks to
Prog
everyone
on.
in the chat, and it's great to actually see people going, I need to go and buy that. So certainly I spotted
Yeah.
a few of those.
Tell
over
people
the
you
course
heard
of the chat.
you heard the stuff on the Prog Report live
You
stream.
heard it here first.
Exactly. Yeah. Someone asked way earlier if we ever listened to Temple of Shadows by Angra, and I'll say yes. I am Brazilian. I know all about it.
Oh,
I think
Oh,
we've talked about Angra before. on
Yeah,
the
we
live
did.
stream.
I just forgot to
At le-
reply. Sorry,
At
dude,
least
if you're
once
still
a
here.
week.
Yeah, and Lalu, we all know about Lalu.
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 And the
There
band
you go.
O. Next week, I'm doing a solo episode. I'm listening to the whole album.
Okay, yeah, it's a reaction video.
Yeah, I
Let's
could do it. Yeah. Anyways,
All right.
thanks everyone. Ending
Bye,
stream
guys.
in 3,
Thanks, everybody.
2, 1.